for fast, cheap, and reliable Madden 21 Ultimate Team coins. Make sure you guys go check out my sponsor, Easy Mutt. Use code VENM at checkout for 5% off. Yo, what's good guys, Venom Fire here, back to the video, and today I'm going to bring you guys another passing offense that I have been liking a lot. It's very off meta, but you can actually get very creative and create some very underrated and useful route combinations. Again, it's going to take some meta stuff from other formations, but it's going to be relatively off meta, still very effective to use, and it's been one of my favorite formations for years. The formation that I'm talking about is going to be gun Y off trio weak out of the New Orleans Saints offensive playbook. Let me know down below if you want me to make a full Saints offensive ebook, because the playbook's still very, very good. In this one in particular, you can do a lot with this formation. You can audible to Taysom Hill QB if you have a mobile quarterback, for example. And you can also audible to the tight offset. The bunch is not terrible. There's a flood, there's a mesh, there's a Z spot. So you still have a couple of really good plays. And there's obviously a halfback base. So there's a lot of potential in it. Let me know down below on that. Also, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on to never miss an upload. We're on the road to 20K subscribers, and we can't do it without your help. So go ahead, hit that sub button. But back to the video. We're in this Y off trio week. Very underrated formation. We're going to be using Gunslinger and Hot Route Master in this video. And really the bulk of the formation kind of stems from two plays. And those plays are going to be Saints outs and Saints deep out. We also have base and sticking up just there. But the bulk of the setups is going to be from those two plays I previously mentioned. I'm going to start out with Saints outs. And again, you could get a playmaker if you want. We're not going to use a lot of playmaker concepts, but mainly, you just need Hot Route Master and Gunslinger for some of the motion stuff. Again, it would be successful without either abilities. You could actually just run this with no abilities and be successful if you had to. On the defensive side of the ball, I'm just going to go with cover 3 and some man coverage in today's video. So, hopping into the field here, just taking a look at this play, Saints outs. It's a really, really good stock play, especially against things like man coverage. Realistically, if you wanted to, you could come out on the field, snap the ball, and make a read. Right off the bat, we have the table route that's going to beat man coverage very easily just with a quick snap throw, as well as some of the other routes. The post route does beat man coverage typically. Now, depending on if you get jammed at the line of scrimmage, could vary. The out route realistically should beat man coverage part of the time. Again, this year it's not as good as previous years, but it is still usable. It is still solid in my opinion. There's a couple of things I like to do better against man coverage, and because you have a couple of hot routes that you can do before you get to the line of scrimmage, there's some things that I would like to do. And one of those things being, instead of the out route, I like to go with the curl. Now this is a concept that I do against cover 3 as well, which you'll see why in a bit, but also against man coverage, it's going to be a little bit more consistent depending on the abilities that they have. The curl route, more times than not, is going to just be consistent. You see even there with a good leverage, a good defensive press, we were able to complete it. And again, that's not going to happen every time, especially against shade over the top man coverage. You're going to get a way better release, and you can just lowball an aggressive catcher. It'll be money. These days, without one step ahead abilities being as popular, you're going to see shade over the top man coverage a little bit more than you used to. So that's the reason that I did the shade over the top concept right there. Moving on to some of the other things you can do, I could also go ahead and curl B if I wanted to. I could actually curl both. Just create a curl flat concept, and that would be relatively the same. Again, you can throw that on the backside as we did just there. But let's hop into zone coverage because, again, man coverage is going to be less used. It's still very good, so we're going to mix it in, but cover 3. Now, cover 3 is mainly where I like to go out route or curl route on this solo side receiver. The reason that we do that is here's stock cover 3, and you'll see Mike Evans is not throwable. If I throw that, it's a pick 10 out of 10 times. So that's not going to be a throwable ball. Against cover 2, it's not going to be open either. So that out route is basically useless against every single coverage unless they're running some weird like match coverage where they don't have a flat, whatever the case may be. So let's hop into cover 3 again, and now we're going to put Mike Evans on a curl route. But you saw in the previous play, Fournette was still open. Now you'll see that both players are going to be wide open. I could have thrown it to X, I could have thrown it to Y, and that's just stock coverage. One of the reasons I like this formation, it's going to spread out the field really well, but it's still going to give you some like bunch type concepts because we still have the same kind of personnel as a bunch over here, and we can still do a lot of the same things. You're going to force your opponent to basically more or less double Mabel both sides of the field with this kind of a route combo. But let's hop into some of the more unique stuff that we can do And right off the bat, what I'm going to do is talk about some of the motions with the hot routes. So you see, if I wanted to put Chris Godwin on a corner route, which I could, he's going to go on this C route, which is not what we want. We want him to go on the little outbreaking corner. I'll show you what it looks like. We want him to go on this kind of a corner route. Now, how do I do that while motioning him? The way that you can do it is right when I press the D-pad to the left, right when I see him move, I'm going to have him up, and then I'm just going to press that D-pad to the right. So I'm going to put him on a streak, I'm going to motion him out, put him on a corner out, and then I'm going to snap it. So I'm going to motion, put him on a corner, and I can snap it right here. Now he's going to be quick breaking, and now I can get that separation against man coverage. That's something that we're going to do a lot because I want to get those slot apprentice hot routes while he's motioning inside. So he's not going to be able to get jammed. You'll see that with crossers, you'll see that with corners, even deep posts. Now I might use some of those deep outside apprentice hot routes, potentially. The one being this deep post where I can kind of motion him in, do a little bit of stuff like that. But for now, we're going to use the crosser. We're going to use the corner out a little bit more. And again, I'm going to spend a lot of time on Saints outs in particular because that's the one that I like to run basically everything out of. So again, that play was basically everything stock. Again, if I'm running it stock, you could keep him on a curl route if you wanted to. But I'm just going to motion him in, put him on an out or a corner out, and snap the ball like so. Man coverage is going to be money, as you see right there. Let's hop into some of the other things you can do. One of the other things I like to do is kind of flip those routes. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put Antonio Brown now on the corner route, and with Chris Godwin, I'm actually going to motion him over, put him on a crosser, and snap the ball. So I'm going to motion him in, D-pad up, and then I can snap it. Boom, he's on the crosser. He doesn't get pressed. Now, we got jammed a little bit, which is unfortunate. That animation is not too common, and I did snap it just a hair early, so it does take some timing. Let's go to zone coverage again, because the crosser can still be useful. Again, here's a look at what you're doing. Motion him in, put him in a crosser, and then you can snap the ball right there. They also create kind of like a stack, so that's something that you could pay attention to. They create a stack, which, one, he can't get pressed even if he's set, but it just looks a little bit more fluid without that being the case. As far as this side, let's say I want to get a little max protection look. What I would do is probably throw Evans on an in route, and then again, I could go with the corner route with RB, and I could still motion over this crosser like so. Just some good combo. Here you see against man coverage, we get some decent separation. Now Bradbury's pretty good corner. Again, Godwin's not super quick, so you'll expect to get kind of hit a little bit, but that is something that you could do. And obviously, running it stock, I could actually motion this out route and get some nice separation against man coverage. We didn't get it there, but that's something that could be a possibility for you. Now the next thing I like to do is we're going to use the motion but with an actual normal hot route. So I'm going to actually throw Gronkowski here on his corner route. I'm going to smart route it to get him deeper. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, throw B on a deep post, and I'm going to put RB on a little zig route, or I could flat him. Now this is more of a zone coverage beater, I'll say that. So we'll hop into zone. But this is a kind of idea of what I would like to do. I'm going to throw Evans on a little curl route, and I'm just going to motion Godwin in a step, snap the ball right about here. I get a little bit of a good, crisp opening there for Gronkowski. A lot of times with the streak, just on the outside, it's not as clean, so I like to throw him on a little deep post. Again, this setup was put A on a corner. I don't have to necessarily, with A, I don't necessarily have to smart route him if I don't want to. I could just run it like this, and just motion him inside like so. You get a little bit of faster break. That's probably going to be better for man coverage against zone. I do like to smart route him though. You could do also some other things. If I wanted to, maybe I put B on like a zig and I motion him across. Now with RB, I might go crosser. I might create something kind of like this. Or maybe I put X on a little in route. If I have playmaker, I can playmaker him back. Now when you're doing this, you could get jammed at the line of scrimmage, so be careful. But against something like cover 3, that wouldn't be the case, and that would be a little bit better for you. So you're going to motion the zig in, you're going to snap it, and he's just going to break pretty simply here. I could check down to B, or I could throw A over the top. Just going to give you some options. It's going to distract the user. And when you're motioning him every play, putting him on a different route, it's definitely going to be confusing for your opponent. Anyways, we're going to hop into one last setup out of this particular play, and I'm actually going to use the C route that I talked about earlier. So with the C route, I'm going to put him on this corner. I like to smart out it, get it a little bit shorter here, and then I'm just going to create something basic. Now, again, I might go with the in route with X, I'm going to cross RB in this case, and I'm just going to motion him over again right here. This is just a pretty good combo. It's going to open up Gronkowski, and Gronkowski's probably been open every single time against cover 3 and cover 2. Really every coverage besides man, you could almost throw it against depending on if they double flat, whatever the case is. But that's something that you could do. So again, all I'm doing is in route X, cross RB, and I'm going to corner B, smart out B, motion him. Just a step in is all it takes here against man coverage. Very, very good as well. And it's a little bit of a breath of fresh air from the typical corner out we were doing. Anyways, that was a lot of time. Let's hop into some of the other plays that we can do. Again, the other popular one is Saints deep out. I might not even really touch up on sticking up. I got one small setup for that, but I don't really run that at all. Let's talk about base, though, because it's important to have a good run with a good passing set. Base is always a really good run in Madden. Very underused, very underrated. It's good in bunch. Again, you have this nice little setup, and look at the blocks right there. We can almost take that to the crib with a better running back, but you see, just a simple run. You can run it on both sides if you wanted to. And not only can I do that, but I can kind of confuse him with the motion. I can motion him in a step, snap the ball, and run my halfback base, take my 5 yards. You're just going to kind of confuse the user by looking to the right, seeing that we have everything covered, and then taking advantage. So again, you can motion him in. That's also could help with the blocks inside, whereas on the outside, he's not going to maybe do a whole lot for you. Again, there's one kind of small problem with the formation. It's that you actually can't motion either of these receivers completely across. If I try to motion AB over, I can't motion snap him, and 2, he's going to get set up right there in a bunch stance, and again, he doesn't really do much for you from there, especially without a motion snap. It's a little bit unfortunate, but that could potentially help with blocks. But yeah, there's not really too much to base. I'm not going to talk about it for too long, but it is there, it's useful, and it's very, very solid run. Now, let's move into Saints deep out. This is going to basically be your flood play of the Y-off trio. We're going to use Antonio Brown's route to our advantage. It's a deeper out route, so we like that a lot. My favorite setup for this is going to be to put B on a little smoke screen. I'm going to actually cross Gronkowski. Now I'm just going to usually drag X. So it's going to be something simple like this. If I wanted to, I could actually, or I can't motion B over on this route, but I could actually maybe use a little bit of motion, but this is just a solid route. This is more of a playmaker concept. You have X on that playmaker. Realistically, if I wanted to, I could actually go ahead and slant him if I really wanted to. So I'd go with something like this, but that's not my favorite thing to do. It would be better against man coverage, but that kind of creates an easy user from the slant to the out route, so I kind of stay away from that. Very good against cover 3 as well, any zone coverage to be exact. And really it's just going to be good because you have that deeper out route. Now you do have a deep post if you wanted to. If you really wanted to use that, you could. But I'm just going to go with something like this. So if they're playing high coverage, I could check down, but right there, they did a good job of defending it. If not, that could potentially pull down some zones and create openings for yourself. So that's always something that you like. Here's man coverage once again. Gronkowski, a better tight end, should get separation because, again, your tight end should not be getting pressed in one-on-one coverage. One more time against zone. And also, it's nice that you have the stock table route as well. It's going to save you one hot route. You can potentially get the ball off a little bit sooner if you have conductor. I think that could be a case, but you see here, that's stock cover 3, and the out route's wide open. So depending on if they're playing low, they're playing high, you can take advantage in most cases. That's something that I like a lot. Anyways, let's move into our last play, sticking up. Now with sticking up, what I like to do is smart out X. I'm going to drag A, and I'm just going to block Y. This is going to be our first setup. We're going to use AB to our advantage. I'm just going to snap this stock, and you see how AB is going to get open against man on that reverse zig. That's something that I like a lot because it's not going to kind of run into our post route. It's going to create decent spacing. And again, I can easily get this off with a quick snap. So I can just come out on the field. I block my running back. I drag A and I snap the ball. A is also going to be wide open. I do think it's important to smart out X. That's something that I forgot to do. But when you actually smart out receivers, that doesn't count as your hot route. So if you had like conductor, realistically, I could just block Y, smart out X, and drag A without doing one animation. I can snap the ball. If you don't, that's probably going to be one animation, but you don't necessarily have to block Y. It's just kind of a want, not a need. You see how Mike Evans is going to burn man coverage, so it's solid. especially if you could potentially get playmaker on R1. That might not be the case though. The other way to run it would be to smart out X, drag A, streak RB, and slant B. The way I like to do this is just motion him in a step, snap the ball. He can't get pressed, and he's going to get really good separation right there. These setups are not super good this year. It's easy to user. If they're double flatting, it's going to be a relatively simple user depending on how many guys they have in the middle. But it is something that you could run if you really wanted to. Honestly, with this combo, I could also go with the crosser set. So I could maybe drag A. With RB, I could throw him on a little zig, throw him on an out route. And then with B, I can motion him over on a crosser. I kind of messed that up, so I'll reset here. But I would put B on a cross. Just going to be 2 deep zones like so, and we'll snap the ball. Right there, we get really good separation, can pass lead outside, and James Bradbury's a really good corner, so he's going to defend that. He has really high man coverage, if I'm not mistaken, but that's another option. Overall, it's going to do for the video. Again, let me know if you want the full ebook of this, and I will try and deliver that to you guys. Also, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, drop a like if you enjoyed. Follow me on Twitter, link will be down below in the description, and peace. I'm out of here.